It's no secret. It's plain to see. I love you. And you love me. It's no secret. The only time we seem to meet is in the middle of the night. Only then can I feel your heartbeat, 'cause something's not right. Together I see you and me.
Hey guys, happy Saturday. We will be kicking off here.
But not everyone would agree, 'cause then it's a crime, it's no secret.
Hey, Trinity, can you hear me?
It's plain to see. Yes, I love you.
Here you go. We're getting set up here. Bear with us 1 second here. Gonna get Alex up here. Guys, happy Saturday to you. Welcome to another Energy Garden. I am so excited for today's show. Alex, so good to have you here, love. This is like really good stuff. Alex and I connected back, a few weeks ago, and we started kind of talking about like, hey, we need to do a show together. And this is really great. And so, Alex, I want you to go ahead and take a minute, introduce yourself to everybody, and then we're going to kind of kick off into things.
Hey, Trinity, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm super thrilled to be here. So, introductions, that's always an interesting one, right? We have our bios that we write, but what do we really want to say? I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm a Gemini. I have a Scorpio ascendant, Leo moon. I've got the intense signs. I love digging deep with people and talking about real stuff. I don't like surface conversations. I like to talk about energy, spirits, astral travel, past life regressions, all those things that can be kind of taboo and mainstream. I like to talk about things that challenge my belief systems and other people's belief systems. And I like to challenge people to step up and step into their life and become the badass that they've always born to be, that they came here to be. And that's what I do with hypnosis, is empower people to do the work. I don't do it for them. I empower them to do it.
I love that. I love that so much. You're speaking my language, Alex, and it's good stuff. You know, first off, let me just tell everybody, welcome everybody that's down below. Graciela, who we have here. We got James, we got Jimmy, we got Deanna. I want to also welcome everybody that's watching in YouTube land. Thank you for being here. You know, when I started setting up and doing the energy garden stuff, set that up with my friend Anna actually, but we set that up for the reason of connecting and having a better understanding with us, with our being, with our spirit, with our mind, with our energy, gaining a better presence of, you know, who you are. Who are you as a person? How do you communicate with yourself? How do you understand yourself? You know, for those who don't know, I mean, I've been doing psychology for 25 years. I help people with depression, anxiety, you know, all these things. But what does it come down to? Well, it comes down to that my goal is that I want you to understand you the best. You got to sometimes reacclimate. What do you understand about yourself? Do you even understand energy? Do you, like, when your brain is going in 9,000 directions, do you have a system in place that you're able to gain a good routine, gain a good, you know, presence about what you're understanding about who you are as a person, where you've come from, and where it is you want to go? And one of the key things that Alex and I are going to dive into today, and I'm really excited to hear Alex's input on this, is that we're talking about our subconscious. Your subconscious is there, and it's kind of like it's a storehouse of information. And so what Alex does is she helps you break into that storehouse, because a lot of people have lost the fucking key. You don't even know how to get into it sometimes. Well, it requires sometimes, you know, going into therapy, going to somebody like Alex that can do hypnotherapy to help you jimmy that lock, to get into that store space, to better understand what it is you're carrying from all of the things that you've experienced in your life, because that's what your subconscious kind of does. It collects. You've got answers in there that on the surface you may not be able to really tap into that. But we bring in you, Alex, and you're able to help people actually learn and answer their own questions within themselves. And that's what I think that's just epic, and I love it. I want you to impart into that before I carry on.
Great. Well, there's so many gems in what you just said. Where do I pick? You talked about the subconscious being that center. I like to call it the data center of everything: our memories, our pain, our trauma, our joy, our love, our creativity and inspiration. When we think of the brain, and I don't know where I saw this, think of the organ, right? The brain like this, and the mind. Joe Dispenza talks about the mind being the brain in action, which I think is really cool. But if this is your brain, like, this is your conscious mind out here on the outside, and your conscious mind is fantastic. It allows you to function in the world every day. It protects you from those painful memories and trauma. It does a lot of cool stuff for you, but we want it to just step aside and access the subconscious, which, to your point, Trudy, is where everything is. It's also called the soul mind. Every answer to everything you ever want to know about yourself and about your life is here in your subconscious mind, in your soul. And so it's just asking the conscious mind to step away for a little while. We're not asking you to go away. We're just asking your conscious mind to sit on the sidelines in the bleachers, or, you know, in the dugout, and just observe everything. Give it something to do so it feels important and valued, but really kind of get in here and get into the meat of everything that you want to know about yourself and your traumas. You know, I think that we all chose as a soul to come into this specific life, and any life that we've had, for a reason. And we also are not our traumas either. We don't have to. People just want to hold those traumas and hold that pain and those experiences as like a badge of courage.
That right there, yes. And see, now I deal with that just in general therapy. It's like people not being able to just let go of something, and a lot of times, though, that's coming from a place where, well, one, a lot of those people don't know what is the resolve. In other words, so they don't really know what that next step is. However, they've also made that position of carrying that trauma become their normal. That's become my normal. That's just what I'm used to. That's just become like it's just the way it is. It's that is not the way it is. That's why we want to move past, and whenever you're able to really understand, for example, okay, tell me what you think of this statement, okay? As a hypnotherapist, tell me what you think of this statement. Once you've connected to your subconscious through hypnosis, you can now have actual conversations with it.
That's a true statement. I think that's absolutely true. And it's easy to access. People just don't realize that they can.
And that's it. That's it. Now, I've had a lot of people over the years, I mean, where the topic of hypnosis and so forth comes up, people get scared. They're like, well, no, I don't want to do hypnosis because it means that I'm losing control of myself. And so if anything happens, I'm screwed, basically. Now, how would you combat that? I mean, in other words, what would your statement be to somebody like that? They kind of want to try it, but at the same token, no, it's really scary. Because people see like people see all the carnival trick people that it's what it is. But the people that go up on stage and do all that stuff, it's a whole different bracket than what you do, and that's what I'm kind of hoping too, that you'll kind of be able to explain to people why is hypnosis, or what is this? What is the protocol for hypnosis?
Yeah, that's your point. That's a common misunderstanding amongst
Yeah,
people, because of stage entertainment hypnosis. Hypnosis, there's a lot of definitions, and there's some misalignment on those definitions. So when I'm talking about it today, this is how I'm defining it so that we're all on the same page. Hypnosis is an altered state of consciousness. It's a deep relaxation. It's an ability to go into a trance, to know yourself better. And that's when I talk about hypnosis, that's my definition of hypnosis. And so when people are concerned, they're a bit apprehensive about what they've heard, you can't quack like a duck. I'm not going to do that. You're not going to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets, and then I'm going to go tell people. You're not going to tell me your secrets anyways, because even when people are in a trance or hypnotic state, they don't tell you everything. As a hypnotherapist, we are having a conversation with your subconscious, and your subconscious doesn't tell me everything. I'll ask questions to gain some insight as to where you are, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, so I know how to guide you. I'm just your guide or your facilitator. Your subconscious is in control. Your conscious mind is there as well, taking notes of everything. And again, we give it that job so that we don't have conscious interference. So, and also as a hypnotherapist, if I think about like my moral and ethical obligation, and for me being here to be in service to humanity, I would never do anything to hurt somebody. Like my goal is to help people and to empower people.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, no, and that's what people need to understand. Like, yeah, absolutely. You want to be you're not going to go to just anybody that says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to hypnotize you." No, you need to know the bracket. No, it's going on the same with therapy. Don't go to just any therapist. You got to have a connect and know that. But yeah, you want to understand that these are all methods of helping you connect to something that. I mean, honestly, look, the subconscious, that's that part of the mind that most people are completely unaware of. But it's one of the most vital parts of your mental. It's one of the most vital parts of how you live. It controls things like helping you put. Where am I trying to go? It's one of those things that can actually help you resolve a lot of the issues that you carry from traumatic things you've experienced in the past, abusive areas that you've had, all of these things, grief even, okay? But your subconscious knows a lot of these things, and the conscious mind sometimes is kind of the bully on the playground a little bit, and it can block you from really understanding and really hearing your true nature, because sometimes that true nature of yourself gets so hidden and blocked away, and so your conscious mind is like, I'm in defense mode. So now I'm going to wall up. I'm going to block everything in. And what that's doing is blocking you away sometimes from being able to hear, being able to connect to that subconscious area of yourself, which really does hold a lot of the keys. And now, if I'm saying anything, Alice, that you disagree with, you jump in and be like, no, you need to back that one up, because I'm trying to, I want to understand, or I want us to be going down this path, because I really want people to understand that this is a moment, and you are a valuable person that can help people understand. I get to actually build this relationship with my subconscious to better understand who I am, where I've come from, and where I'm going.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on everything so far. I'll let you know. I'll put your
Right? Please do. You have permission to tell me to shut the fuck up. Like, no. So
I want to get back to what you said about,
go ahead.
conscious mind or the conscious mind. Like, we go unconscious basically all the time throughout the day. Like, if we think about the brain waves, we go through every brainwave state all throughout the day through an entire 24 hours. When you get up in the morning, and you get up in the morning when your alarm goes off, or maybe you slept in, the first thing you do, you're unconscious. You're going to the bathroom, you turn the light on, you brush your teeth, you wash your hands. That is all unconscious or subconscious. When people, I tell you what I noticed, in November, I got rid of my smartphone and I went to a flip phone. And my husband still has his smartphone, and I'll use it occasionally to record videos or whatever, And the observation that I have seen within the world with people, they're on their devices, they're unconscious. It's
Yeah.
a programming device. I mean, they are
Yeah.
unconscious on their phone, walking
Yeah.
down the street. They don't see anything. It's totally.
I know. It is nuts. It's nuts. Like, I I think, first off, I think it's classic you went to a flip phone, but it's people today, society today, and I'm about to open a door of what could be a whole another show. But my point is that what phones and social media and stuff has done today, it has created such a divide in in being able to actually understand yourself and be present of mind, because we're flowing along. It's robots in the system kind of thing, and it's so disconnecting. And the thing is that we're getting away from one. I talk about this a lot of, like, do you actually have a relationship with yourself? And if you have a relationship with just what your conscious mind is holding on to, you do not have a full relationship with yourself. And today, society with social media and all that, you're right. Everything's very surface oriented. Everything's very just conscious level oriented. So we're not getting into that deeper aspect, I mean, a lot of things too, like, we have to understand, like, our subconscious. I mean, that's that back end major component that operates things like your lungs and your heart, and things of that nature. It's the things that you don't have to think about. Like, you're going to breathe, right? Your heart's beating. It's doing its thing, but that all comes from a subconscious part of yourself. Well, so picture that in a minute. That if you could tie in to that major, as you put it, data center that you have there, think about all of the other things that it could be doing for you if you were conscious that it were doing it. In other words, building that gap, building that relationship. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, that makes me think instantly of heart-brain coherence, right? So our brain, we have neurons, which are our brain cells. Our heart also has the same thing, and I feel like they're called sensory dendrites. I can't recall exactly what it is, but there's
That sounds
more
right.
of those, and there are neurons. Is that right? Sensory dendrites? Yeah. Okay. And so when we talked about subconscious programming, right? Then there's deprogramming those belief systems. So we have to create new neural pathways. We have to have that new fire and wire. But when we can really get that heart-brain coherence, because, and this was just a mistake. Well, I don't even want to call it a mistake. It was just a learning that I had, and I had to go through experience. And when I first got back into meditation, a daily meditation practice in about 2011, I thought it all had to be through here, through my pineal gland to connect, but it's actually your heart. Your heart, your brain, your blood, the most electric charge in your body. But if you can have that heart-brain coherence, you always have a direct line to your soul, to your subconscious, whatever you want to call it. And in 2020, I was doing a session with a couple of women, and it was a hypnosis session, and one of my teachers was leading, and I think she had dropped it. Another lady and I were on the call, and we were talking, and I was given the vision of an infinity symbol, and it was encompassing in the top, the brain, and then it came across through the heart, and it was like this, vertical, and it was just like golden, like fire color, harmonizing the brain and the heart. And it was so beautiful. And if we could do that and be in a place of heart-brain coherence, I mean, we talk about energy, right? Our thoughts are energy. Everything is energy.
That's right.
You can create anything that you want in your life.
That's right. That's right.
You can create your joy. It's a choice. Your joy, your happiness, your creativity, your like depression, sadness, your pain. You can live in whatever you want. And I might have
I love that.
Off the rail a little bit there.
No, you did not. No, it's good. I'm loving it. No, I'm loving this. I did a little bit of a research thing like a few years back actually, and it was with give me a minute and I'll have the name. But this is a segment of that research. I want to read this for a minute, and but so your subconscious, it can also be observed in action when you shake your head without realizing it, shift your gaze when you're not telling the truth, or suddenly come up with a inspirational idea like just out of the blue. In addition, your subconscious is a storehouse of thoughts and feelings you're not even aware exist, but that can have profound influence on your behavior as well as your well-being. So for example, if you develop a fear that you could no longer trust a longtime friend, but you couldn't bear to admit this to yourself, you might develop dizziness when around this friend without even knowing why. Now, a hypnotic trance that allows you to ask your subconscious why you're getting dizzy could uncover the trust issue. So in addition, you could ask your subconscious to end the dizziness and use memories and feelings you didn't consciously remember to help you determine if the distrustful feelings are even justified. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, that's so spot on. You said this earlier, and I just didn't get it out. Talking about people's belief systems or behaviors and what they think. When we have our bodies produce chemicals, right? When we feel emotion, that's a chemical reaction in our body, the hormones moving through our body, and people become addicted to those feelings of pain, sadness, depression, anger, anxiety, whatever it is. They become physically addicted to it. To your point earlier about, it's just easier to believe this, it's just easier to believe everybody's gonna, let me down or whatever it might be. They're addicted to that feeling.
Right.
And so if you can move beyond that trauma, whether the five basic ones, abandonment, betrayal, I have it written down because I was justice.
Right. Yeah.
It all stems from somewhere right there, and then they tie into this self-limiting beliefs. Well, I'm not
exactly.
I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. But all of that ties into that programming. From the time we're born, 7 years old, we're always in alpha or theta, basically, like constantly.
Yeah.
And you were the most influential, you were the most programmable you ever will be. And think about who you're around. Your parents. Our parents don't always know because they're a product of their parents.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. They're not always aware. They don't mean to do things to you. They don't mean to put their betrayal on you, but they do.
That's right. That's right.
Your friends, your friends' parents, stuff. That's where you develop those belief systems and behaviors that you express throughout your young adult life and your adulthood, unless you deal with it.
Yeah. And that's the part right there. That's the part right there. Like, we get lost and separated from dealing with those things. This has come up recently, actually, because I deal with a lot of couples therapy, and what's one of the most main things is the amount of people that have come through, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, all these kind of relationships. And what's happening is, like, your subconscious does know all of this stuff, but then we turn around and instead of evolving past a bad moment, we're compounding on a bad moment because we're not taking the time to actually do that of what you just said, to resolve something before we move on. We keep going. Then you get those people who are going from one narcissistic relationship to another narcissistic relationship, going from one abuser to another abuser, because again, back to what I was stating earlier, we've made that our normal, but we've made that our normal in our conscious elements. Your subconscious is not necessarily going to make that your normal. Your subconscious is smarter than that, but we don't allow ourselves to actually hear our subconscious. So therefore, no, I'm going to protect my fucking self. I'm going to protect myself, but I'm going to protect myself by maintaining my harmful course. Doesn't make sense. And that's the whole point, is that we have to get back to that place where we're able to realize, hey, my conscious assessment right now is not good. It's why people go to therapy. It's why people need hypnotherapy, so that we can break that cycle, break that misconception, to get back to that place that's going to be actually healthy for us, so we can start to actually elevate instead of regress where we are and where we want to go.
Yeah, I mean, Trinity, I went to talk therapy for like 17 years, from the time I was 6 and my parents got divorced all the way through high school and then a little bit into college. And I'm glad I did it, because it definitely made me more aware of my feelings and being able to assess like what's going on with me and my behavior. But to your point about, not resolving those instances when we experience that pain or trauma, or we have that one of those things happen to us, when you don't resolve it, the next time you experience it, it's going to come through like a Mack truck, because it's carrying everything from the
Yes.
past.
Yes.
Aristotle was one who actually kind of came up with timeline therapy, which I do a lot of that with my clients, is we go back to the very first time your subconscious remembers experiencing anger, whatever it is, self-limiting beliefs. Who doesn't have a self-limiting belief, right? And we go to each event, you don't relive it, but you see it as the objective observer. And you ask your subconscious or your soul, what do I need to know? What do I need to learn about this event? What's the wisdom there for me that if you will share it with me, will allow me to release it?
Yeah.
It's that simple. And then you move along to the next one, to the next one, to the now. And look, we've released all the anger. It doesn't mean you're not going to experience it ever again, but it's not going to bring everything from the past with
Right.
you.
Right.
And I think
That's exactly right.
it's like, I think there's more conversation around mental health, now than there ever has been. And it's more exciting to say, hey, I'm going to therapy. I'm doing this, trying to heal my life and get to know myself better. Like, it's pretty freaking rad,
It is. It is. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I want to share this one little snippet right here too. And then let me tell you guys that are down here in our listening lounge. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to allow you guys to come up to ask questions, share a comment. But what we're going to do is we're going to do it in a system of, I'm going to bring you on stage, ask your question, and I'm going to bump you back down to the audience, okay? That'll just help us stay on track, but I also don't want to overwhelm the show scope of where we're going. But I am going to go ahead and tell you right now, if you guys do have a question, go ahead and hit your button. And go ahead and hit the plus sign. You can request to come up, and I will bring you up. And while you guys decide if you're going to do that, I'm going to share this a little bit with you. And this is about allowing your subconscious to express itself. So if you've ever seen the stage hypnosis, which I was mentioning earlier, volunteers are induced to say or do things that they didn't intend on a conscious level. And I'm very interested to get your comment on this one, Alex. So to audiences unfamiliar with hypnosis, such behavior might appear magical, inexplicable. But they're actually the result of encouraging the subconscious to come forward and overly change behavior. So such stage shows might make it seem the volunteers are losing control of their bodies and minds. However, whether you fall into a trance with someone's help or on your own, all hypnosis is essentially self-hypnosis. You can't be forced into a trance against your will, and you can't be made to do anything under hypnosis that you truly don't want to do. What's your comment on that?
Absolutely. Yeah. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I mean, think about trance eating, right? You're sitting in front of the TV, you're just eating and eating and eating. That's a trance.
Right.
You're driving in your car and you're listening to music and you're really rocking out, and you miss your exit. You're in a trance. Like, going into a trance is really simple. And the stage hypnosis stuff is, some people are more suggestible than others.
That's right.
Who meditate, I will say there are people who are easier to go into trance than others. Some people have a little bit of interference. But again, it's the principle of the yes, like getting those yeses from people, that confirmation, that makes it easier. Some people need to go into a trance nice and slow, and they need guided visualization. Some people need distraction, just like run-on sentences to distract their conscious mind from listening to what you say, but they don't even know what you're saying, and they can go into a trance. So everybody's different. It's important to ask somebody. There's some questions, like, if you were describe an apple to me, do they describe it physically? Do they feel it, or do they see it?
Right.
Taste it. There's different ways to know how to work with people, because most people don't know.
That's right.
Go into a trance really fast, or it's going to be hard to go into a trance. If you say
I love it.
Yeah. If I said, "Oh, I'm really hard to hypnotize,"
right.
There you are. You're confirming that right there. You're
that's right.
Out there,
and you're going
to get back.
And you just put your own block. That's right. See, and here's one thing: is the next part of this, and then this is it for that. But when you enter a hypnotic session intended for self-improvement, allowing your subconscious to express itself often leads to healing, greater understanding, and a more positive and effective path forward. Meaning, don't put those blocks up. Let yourself actually, if you're going to do it, then fucking do it. Just relax with it. Go with it. And you will actually be able to feel yourself go to a greater place. Really quick, we had Gracie Ellie on the back end asking how to connect with Alex King. Please look at the fortune cookie. Go to Alex's website. You can connect to all of her social media there. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. Alex, I'm going to let you do your commercial, but guys, click the link in the fortune cookie, please. Also, here on Fireside, please follow her. I'm definitely hoping this is not our only show. I would like to do future shows with Alex. I'm sure Alex may do some shows on her own, so give her a follow. And so that's where we have. Now, real quick, if anybody wants to come on stage and ask a question and make a comment, please go ahead and click that plus sign. Apart from that, Alex, what's your thought on what I just read?
My contact information.
Well, share that for sure. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll jump back onto our other train.
I was with you in the most recent there. Okay, so yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, Alex King, hypnotherapy.com. You can schedule a complimentary consult with me or discovery call. We'll talk and kind of find out what's going on with you and what do you want to do with hypnosis? What outcomes would you like to have from it? And then I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I post videos on there just talking about different things, sharing information. So those are the ways to get in touch with me. And if you're thinking, you've been thinking about hypnosis for a while, I think this is probably your sign.
There you go.
You should go with it.
There you go.
Not that you should. I don't know what anybody should or shouldn't do. I actually try not to use that word because that's myself.
You should. You should do this. You need to do this, Alex. Yeah.
Talk about hypnosis. We could talk about that on a mass scale. Like the past couple of years has been a mass scale brainwash hypnosis.
That's right. That's right.
On the people of our humans of our lovely planet.
Now, Alex and I discussed this a little bit before we discussed it in another conversation, but we talked about it a little before the show. Now, most of you that know me, you know that I've shared like what my upbringing was, and I grew up very spiritual. I grew up pagan, grew up in a witch's coven. I grew up with my mom, my grandmother teaching me about energy, how to read people, understanding our gifts, being able to actually tap into meditative states of all that. And I believe that that's what they were doing, is teaching me how to listen to my subconscious and so forth. But in that, see, that weirds a lot of people out, but, and that's okay, because we all come from a different understanding of spirituality or what our religions are and all that. But spirituality and understanding energy can be a very vital aspect, especially in this thing that we're talking about, of understand or rebuilding that relationship that you have with yourself, allowing yourself to get into that possibly even meditative state that you are able to sit and listen to your subconscious. I've over the years, I mean, for most of my life, I have tried many times to, I play around with astral projection. I play around with deep meditation. I play with all of these things because I want to find that tap. I want to find that release that allows me to really clearly hear me. And we do this not listening to everybody else around you, not listening to all of the initial head thoughts. That's your head. So we'll break it down to say the head and the heart. Well, most of the times the head and the heart, they don't play well on the playground together. So we got to tell the head to shut the fuck up sometimes so we can start listening to our heart and our spirit. That's going to get you closer to understanding your subconscious. That is what, in my belief, that is what a hypnotic state can do for you, is help you actually be in that space that you can just shut up a minute, listen, learn something, hear something, follow something, feel that passion that you maybe lost because of whatever bad decisions we make. And we all make bad decisions. We all make mistakes. We all get cluttered up. That's what hypnotherapy can do for you. It can unclutter you. It can get you cleaned out a little bit. It can help you redevelop. Oh my God. Oh, there's my subconscious. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Now I'm seeing something. Now I'm learning something. That's important. And I'm always curious to hear how people develop, what our spiritualities are and all that. Now, Alex, you shared a little bit, but I'm asking you now. I would love to hear, what is your history?
Sure. So my history, I grew up in the South in Georgia. My parents didn't take me to church, but we prayed every night, for dinner. We said the blessing. And then in fourth grade, I started going to Catholic school. Now, I wasn't Catholic, and I really was fascinated by religion class. I loved learning about it. Going to mass was really fun. Getting to participate and hold the mass for the students every Friday or whatever, how many Fridays it was a month, was super fun because it was new information. So I really loved to learn new things, and that was very fun for me. In fact, I wanted to become Catholic. But I'm so glad I did not. No offense to anybody who might be watching that's Catholic.
I love that.
Religion is the worst thing that's ever happened to humanity. I mean, it's been weaponized.
Oh
Weaponized,
my God.
weaponized.
Yes. Yes. By the way, people, religion, man-made. Spirituality, yeah.
I agree. So I kind of, got into studying Catholicism when I was in Catholic school. It was really fun for me. It was something new. And then I went to high school and I got away from it, and I didn't really go to church. And my mom became a massage therapist when I was in about 7th or 8th grade. So when I was still in Catholic school. So she would bring home all these books about the body and energy, body work, all that stuff. And so I'm just a little sponge. I would read everything. And this is back in the day when she was listening to Deepak Chopra on his audio tapes. So this is like, it was always around that stuff. And then I started having out-of-body experiences. And I would go to her and tell her about it. She's like, oh, you're just having an out-of-body experience. Now, also, I grew up in a historic home. It was built in the early 1900s, probably about 1910. And a previous owner or tenant from very long time ago committed suicide in the house. They hung themselves in the stairway. So as a kid, I picked up on that energy all the time. I would be sitting on the sofa, whether I was home alone or not, whatever, and I would feel someone behind me. I mean, I would feel it all the time. So eventually I just started saying, hey, what do you want? Show yourself. Who are you? I didn't know what else to do because I didn't know if anybody else in my house felt it because I never asked. Because sometimes kids, you don't know, right? You're like, what is this sensation? So I could pick up on that energy from as a young child. Fast
Wow.
forwarding back, I started, studying, reading all those books my mom had when I remember reading the Celestine Prophecy when I was in high school, and I tried to start seeing energy around the table at school, like anything I could.
That's awesome.
That stuff, that never went away. I mean, I deviated from that path a bit in college, got married, was very religious, and I became a Christian for that person. I baptized myself, though. You
Oh,
see,
wow.
the thing is that we are indoctrinated to believe that things have to be a certain way.
That's right.
That if anything else, it's dark, it's evil, it's the devil.
Mhm.
But those things were done by design. Back in, it was like 1302 or 1304, there was a pope who took the claim of life on every single soul ever to be born. Now, there's many popes of different colors, not just the one you see.
Right.
So, and within that, religion became weaponized. The Bible became weaponized. They left out all the Gnostic Gospels, all those esoteric things, all the majesty and the magic, the healing, the energy of Jesus, and every religion does that, but it's all a control factor because everything is done, and this is just my opinion, to disconnect us from ourselves, to disconnect us from God, so that we are living in this maze, this matrix.
Yeah.
We can go out
That's right.
and connect to nature. The energy of the tree, the energy of the planet, of the grass. We live here in the mountains. We moved up here, and there are quartz everywhere. There's milky quartz, like white quartz. Everywhere.
See, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Because you're in the mountains, like North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that area, and and you talking about that. I mean, with like the crystals and so forth. I got to go and visit some friends of mine that live in Kentucky, and they're up in like the mountains of Kentucky. But man, there are geodes everywhere. You could just wander around in the yards, find a geode, crack it open, and there would just be, I mean, amazing stuff inside. But that's the thing, though, is like, I think a lot of people miss that kind of stuff. They're not. It's just not a thing for a lot of people, and I wish that it was more opened.
Well, you're right, and you think about the amount of distractions that the investment in the distraction system, right? I mean, it's phenomenal. It's been going on for centuries, if you think about it.
I know. Oh yeah, distractions. Hold on, Alex. Distraction. Hold on. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay, we're good. All right.
It's the distraction. Right? Like, if you're going to go out, what you were talking about earlier, and to connect with yourself, know yourself, go for a walk in nature. Go sit outside. Leave your phone in the car. You don't.
Yes. You don't.
To your point, if you can't be comfortable with just you, without your device around or another person around, you have some work to do. And that's okay, because we're all at a different stage.
That's right.
No one is better or worse off. You're always exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right. That's right.
Listening to that intuition to guide you. What's my next step? What's going to move me in the direction that I want to go next?
That. Now, people, I'm gonna jump on that little statement right there for a minute. I don't care what you've come through, how horrible it was, how treacherous it was, whether it was emotionally abusive, physically abusive, just personally abusive, just bad choices. Promise you one thing. If you don't reacclimate to the relationship that you have with yourself, you will always be your biggest obstacle to change. You're not going to change. You're not going to change because nobody likes change. Change is uncomfortable. Fuck change. I'm not going to change. I'm going to stay right here because I found my rut and I'm going to ride my rut. That's because you've lost sight of the internal. You've lost sight of who you really are sometimes. That's what happens. And when you're going to overcome something, you got to be willing to give yourself permission to face what you're overcoming. By building this relationship, by opening yourself up to being able to listen to your subconscious. You allow yourself to actually process what you went through, what you feel, what you're feeling, what you want to feel, and where you're going to go. But if you don't allow that to happen, you will continue to make excuses. You will continue to be your own obstacle. You will continue to cause yourself to have confusion. You're going to continue to be that one person. All the other friends will be like, oh my God, I can't listen to anymore. Like, we've already had this conversation 10 times and you're just going to keep doing the same thing until I'm done. I'm tapping out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to?
No, go ahead. Go.
You're right. That you get stuck in that perpetual circle, that cycle, that hamster wheel, right? Thoughts can be your greatest advocate or your worst thing ever. And
that's right.
When you're not willing to do the work, it ties into a lot of things. When you're not willing to do that, it's the awareness, right? That, okay, like something's going on here. It's not working for me. What I'm doing is no longer working. I'm getting the same results. It's just some kind of awareness that you have to start with.
Right.
If you don't get into that awareness, if you don't do something, you are going to repeat that. And you program yourself by your thoughts. Your thoughts are energetic. I'm reading this book called Love, Medicine, and Miracles. It was published in the 80s by Bernie Siegel, doctor.
Right.
Worked with people with cancer patients, but it was all about their attitude and their belief system that allowed them to heal. Like if you're going, if you get stuck in that cycle, then you start saying, well, nothing ever works out for me. I'm just going to be stuck in this job forever. I'm just going to be, the quickest way to predict, to know the future is to predict it. And you predict it with the words you say, because you're casting spells on yourself.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look, we could make a whole nother show about what do we speak? What are you speaking? What are you speaking over yourself?
Yes.
Am I saying, you know what, Alex? I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be loved. I'm going to be passionate. I'm going to meet my goals. Or, Alex, I'm stressed out as fuck, man. I'm depressed. I fucking hate my job. It's just, don't have love. Nobody really likes me. Don't really have any friends. Yeah, that's right. And when people start doing that sometimes, I've done this with people coming to therapy, that they do the same routine. I just start going along with it until they realize, all right, I see what you're doing. Yeah, do you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you're right, buddy. Nobody fucking likes you, man. You're a miserable fuck. Yeah, nobody wants to hang out with you. And you're right. Yeah, your job sucks. You're probably going to get fired anyway, so I'll just start riding along with it. And they're like, all right, I see where you're going. Because we get into that mentality, but it's like, you got to realize, what are you speaking over yourself? What are you embodying? What are you claiming for yourself? And that's where people miss out sometimes. And let me tell you something. Your subconscious, not all the time, but most of the time, your subconscious is kind of batting for you. Your subconscious is there that understands deeper things, and your subconscious, most of the time, is not going to be the one that's sitting there being like, yeah, you're a failure. You suck. You're not lovable. You're not happy. You are depressed. Be in that. That's your conscious mind. Because most people are just analytical as fuck. You got to analyze everything, A to Z, Z to A, and if it don't make sense, you got to keep analyzing it again. You got to do all this. That's your head. And that's the point when most people, you need to realize, you need to tell yourself to shut up. That's the time to find some quiet. Get into that meditation. That's the time to call Alex and be like, hey, I'm rampant up here. I need you to quiet me down. I need to find out what's going on. Let's get a different track. I'm going to get out of this rut now. I'm going to stop being my worst obstacle. And that's what most people are. That's what we all are, because we're human. We make mistakes. We make bad choices. I do it. Alex does it. We all do it. But we make bad choices. And
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I
go.
cut you off. I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. Go.
No, and you're right, because our society values logic and reason. They don't value it's all of the mind. We're programmed as children in school, indoctrinated to believe the heart, to show emotion, to tap into your heart or your soul, is weakness. It's not valued. It's not
and oh my God.
You can't earn money.
So upset.
And money is the most important thing. You go and you work for a corporation, you be a little lab rat, you get into the system, you go to work every day at 9, you come home, you brush your teeth, you go to bed, repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yeah,
That's how we're
that's right.
programmed, as little work
I know.
bees.
That's right. And let me tell you something. Well, no, you're right. And let me tell you something. If people coming to you, Alex, for hypnotherapy, they want to sit down with somebody that's going to be compassionate and all that, and you show up and you're just cold as ice, baby. You're just like, yeah, okay, just sit down in a chair. All right, just shut up. Watch this thing. Whatever. You're doing your thing, right? How many people are going to be coming back to you? And how fulfilled are you going to be in doing what you do? You won't be. How fulfilled are the clients that come to you going to be? They're not going to be, because you're showing that. That's what happens with a lot of people. They're going to work because they're miserable, they're depressed, they're unhappy, and that's exactly the energy that you're putting into everything that you do. And everybody that comes around you is going to feel exactly what that is, and that's you operating from the surface, from the conscious, from just the hassle of crap. You're not taking the time to realize, dude, this is not me. This is not where I want to be. I've lived in this long enough. I want to change. And that's the part. We have to allow ourselves to be able to do that.
You're right, and it is such a beautiful thing when people wake up, when the veil is lifted, and when they realize so many things are just a fiction.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow any dogma. You don't have to follow any life path protocol that's been laid out for you. You get to choose.
You are the author of your own life. And if you don't like the chapter that you're writing, then rip that book apart and start with some new paper and a new pen. Write a new chapter, because you get to do that, and that does not rely on anybody else. That has nothing to do with any other person, because there's nobody else living your life. You're living your life. You're the editor of your life. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Your intuition will never lead you astray.
Yeah.
This is something I want to say earlier. Like, we talk about the words we say are spells. The subconscious would never say these negative things about you. But the thing is that the subconscious can't take a joke. It doesn't know.
I like that.
So when you say, I suck at this, I can't learn new things, no one will ever love me, your subconscious is like, oh, okay, really?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They don't think it's funny.
That's right. That's right. Because most of the time that's what people are doing. You're speaking just illogical bullshit over yourself, and then wondering why the fuck your life is like weird and not right and all these things. It's true.
I mean, the times in my life, there was a time I had I was in a relationship with somebody for a very long time. My dad's ex-wife. I'm not going to go into details, but
right.
And it was very traumatic, tumultuous, all of that. Okay. Mm-hmm. I had to take her to court in the end, but I realized one day, 5 years later, that whole time I'd been playing the victim, and it was like, I was like, holy shit, you've had the victim mentality this whole time. Oh my gosh. And I was so blinded. The veil was so heavy. I couldn't see it. I was so stuck in that cycle and those emotions and the addiction to those emotions, that chemical reaction that was happening in my body, that I finally was able to step aside and realize what I was doing the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It is nuts. All right, I want to pause really quick. Guys, I'm giving you one last chance. If you want to come up here and ask a question, share a comment, this is your moment. Click that plus sign. I will bring you up, ask your question, make your comment, and I'll pop you back down. But because we are just approaching our end of the show, Alex. Now, before we do that, I am going to go ahead, and you already know this is coming. I want this to be a part 1 of a part 2. I want to do a second part to this show. All right, perfect. We're going to bring up Graciela. So, here we go. Graciela, welcome to the stage, love. How are you?
I'm doing great, Trinity. Thank you. Hi, Alex. So nice to hear from you. I just wanted to thank you for all of this brilliant vibe and just beautiful soul and all the work that you do. And a lot of what you're describing, Trinity and I are actually going to be diving deeper into. Trinity, did you tell her about our show next Saturday?
I've not. Please
have you as well.
I want you to go ahead, Graciela. You're doing a good job. Go ahead and mention it.
Thank you. Yeah, next Saturday we're going to be unboxing the spirit, because it shouldn't be put in a box. And so we are going to be talking a lot of some of these things that you're mentioning. And I'm a Christian too, but at the same time, my intuition just, I don't know, we just know a little different. We just know a little extra. We go a little bit further than that. So you're welcome to join us, same time, same stage, and it's going to be wonderful. So thank you for this beautiful conversation, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Well, awesome. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Alex.
Thank you, Graciela. That's beautiful. I can't wait to hear it or be part of it. And I would love to connect with you offline here. I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else want to come up? Now's your chance. Now's your time. And so I do think it's, this is one of those this is one of those like topics, Alex. I mean, you know as well as I do. Like we could have taken probably about 10 little segments from this show and made an entirely other show. So I love that though. I love how much you bring to this. And one question that I did have, because I got this on the back end, somebody sent this over, said I would love for you to ask this question. So for somebody that's never ever had hypnosis before, what is the best thing for them to know? Like, how would you handle that situation, and what would they expect from sitting down with you as a first time ever to do anything like that? What would they expect?
Sure. That's a great question. And, we would have that discovery call first to find out what your questions are and what your focus what you would want to do. And then in an actual hypnosis session, so we call it the anatomy of a session, there's a little bit of pre-talk where we talk about, your goals, what to expect. Sometimes if people are feeling extra emotional, they're a little bit, sometimes people coming and crying, Trinity, you've seen that, crying is a form of trance. You're already in a trance sometimes. So it just depends on where you come into that session. We'll have that pre-talk. Then there's something called an induction, which is a guided relaxation. And it depends, there's a ton of them. We use a ton of scripts. I make things up on the fly sometimes. I make my own scripts. I mean, there's so much out there and there's so much that we can do. So there's an induction that is just it's a relaxation tool. All we do is relax you. My voice
I love that.
I'm guiding, facilitating. And then sometimes we might need to go a little bit deeper. So deeper down into those layers of your subconscious to get you down there. So we'll do it.
I love that.
I'll say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the deepest, where do you feel like you are right now? And the first thing that always comes to you is the right answer. So if you need deeper, we'll do that.
There you go.
We won't do that. And then we'll go into whatever it is that you're here to work on. And like the heat of the session, we'll do that. I take a lot of notes so that I can give those to you so that you can have those to reference, because it's always great to go back and reread information from your subconscious. Then there's an emergence where I emerge you back up into your consciousness. So I'm not going to just say, okay, wake up now. We take a little bit of time to bring you back into your body, to feel your body, to come into consciousness. And that's a session.
I love that. Alex, I have to go off a video for just 2 seconds here. I want you to tell everybody again how to find you. Any closing thoughts? I'll be right back.
Okay. So again, alexkinghypnotherapy.com is my website. And there's a page there's a tab for discovery call. You can schedule a discovery call that will link you to my Calendly site, and you will automatically get a Zoom link once you do that. So I should mention, I do all sessions remote. If there is someone here in the North Carolina area that's close by, I'd be happy to have you come in person and do a session, but all sessions are remote. And it's been working out really well for people because you can be in the comfort of your own space. You don't have to worry about rushing home or being somewhere to get the call. So once you schedule that session, that discovery call, you'll get a Zoom link. We'll meet on Zoom. We'll talk. And then the same thing, you'll get a Calendly link to schedule your full session. And we'll do your session that way as well. I'm on Facebook. You just do Alex King, a search there. You should find me. I'm also on Instagram. It's Alex K Hypnotherapy. You can find me there as well. I post both places pretty often. I definitely use Facebook more, and I get a little more personal on Facebook than I do Instagram, because I feel like if you want to work with me, I'm showing you the whole thing. I'm not hiding things back based on fear of opinion, or what people might think. We are who we are, and it's important that we don't wear multiple faces with people. We wear one face. What you see, what you hear is what you get from me. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you, to be an advocate for you. I'm not doing the work for you. I'm guiding you to do the work for yourself, because when you do the work yourself, it is so much more powerful. I can't do that work for you. Even in energy, I do some energy restoration sessions, and that's around aligning your energy centers, your chakras. I do some work on repairing your auric field, your human energetic field that extends feet out from your body. There's 9 layers. When we have rips or tears in our auric field, we talk about energy, the energy garden, right? We've kind of danced around it a bit today, Trinity, but when we have rips or tears in our auric field, it allows things that do not belong to us to come into and kind of like link into us.
You better believe it.
Down there, entities.
Yeah,
Whatever.
you better believe it. And also, Gracie Ellis said on the back end too, she found you on IG, so she's now following you there. So
Great.
good stuff. And I apologize for that. I had to take care of something really quick, but
Problem. I can keep talking. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk. So I try to be aware of. Okay, stop talking now. You've been talking a while.
No, I think this has been awesome. It really has. And like I said, I want this to be part 1 of a 2-part series with you. Okay, I'm sure we'll probably do multiple shows, but yeah, I definitely want this to be the first of many. So, and you're invited to come join in next week if you want. Next Saturday we'll be unpacking the spirit, and we'll have Gracie L on the stage with us, and that could be really interesting actually. So yeah, if you're up for it, come back, join us for that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I would love to. Trinity, thank you so much for having me and having this space for people to talk and have conversations, and for people to learn and listen and kind
Absolutely
of challenge your belief systems.
That's right. Well, Alex, I love the fact that our paths crossed. Thank you so much for being here today. Everybody that's down in the listening lounge there, thank you so much for being here, for supporting this show. The Energy Garden is about that. Like, you never know what we're going to kind of dive into in these shows, and I love that. So, but Alex, thank you so much for being here. Any final words you want to share with everybody?
Put your phone down. Leave it in the freaking car. Leave it at home. Go somewhere without it one day, where you're gone for like an hour or 2, maybe 3.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It is. That's some healing things right there, man. Something easy to do, isn't it?
Yep.
I mean, it's easy to do it. It's the act is easy, but yeah, doing it is a whole different thing. Yeah.
And you'll realize how addicted, how attached you are.
That's right.
And how free you are too.
I love it. Well, guys, I'm Trinity Michaels. My guest today was Alex King, hypnotherapist. Please go hit the link in the fortune cookie. You can go and hit her website. Definitely hoping to have you back, Alex, for many other shows. And everybody, please tune in to the Energy Garden right here every Saturday, 2 p.m. There will be always something, I'm sure, very interesting. This is kind of where we can dive into the weird, to the energy, to the bizarre, to all those kind of things, and kind of dissect all those areas that I don't necessarily go into a lot of times here in the week. But Saturdays, that's my day to do it, so I like it. All right, guys. Well, Alex, have a blessed rest of your Saturday. I'm sure I'll talk to you again really soon. Everybody else, have a blessed weekend. I hope that you're doing something amazing for yourself. Not for anybody else. Do something for you, okay? So, yeah. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, be you. All right, guys. See you soon.